disruptive in that way? I mean, now it's a speculative currency. Will it be something that will be what normal consumers will use and will disrupt the banking industry?
My opinion of Bitcoin is that, I think Bitcoin is probably a good thing, but it's essentially, its main thing will be, I mean, this will probably get quoted here and there, but it's I think it's primarily going to be a means of doing illegal transactions. But that's not necessarily entirely bad. It's not, some things maybe shouldn't be illegal. But
the combination of Silk Road and Bitcoin will save us?
Well, it will be useful for legal and illegal transactions. Otherwise, it would have no value as a use of for legal transactions, because you have to have a legal to illegal bridge.
Yeah.
I don't own any Bitcoin. Well,
I mean, it does not meet the test of a currency. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not around in 10 or 20 years.
Why does it not meet the definition of a currency?
Well, because people say, well, I'll sell you goods in Bitcoins, but they change the price of those every time the price of the dollar changes in relation to Bitcoin. They're pricing off the dollar. They could say, well, I'll sell it to you in barrels of oil, but if every time the price of oil changes, they change the number of barrels you have to have. That's not, your oil is not the currency.
Our question is, what do you think about the future of the Bitcoin?
Of the future of the Bitcoin?
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what my brother is learning and doing and trading. So yeah, please.
Okay. What, you're an actress?
Yes, I'm an actress.
Oh, I'm an actor now. The question about Bitcoin. Honestly, I'm not that big fan of Bitcoins. But I pay special attention to the cashless society, blockchain technology. Bitcoin, the thing I want to know is that what value, what things that the Bitcoin can bring to the society. But behind the Bitcoin, the technology itself, really very powerful. So my job and Alibaba Alipay's job is trying to making sure that the world will move into a cashless society. The society can make everybody equal, make everybody inclusive to get the money they need, and making sure it's sustainable, inclusive, and transparent. I hate corruption. I don't have opportunity, it's okay. But I don't want somebody through dirty way take away my opportunity. This is why we want a cashless society. But Bitcoin, we watch it very carefully. I will not say I'm a fan of Bitcoins. I'm always also as curious as you are. And I don't think I'm expert on that. I don't pretend I know. There's one thing that I want to share with all of you one day when you do business or do whatever. If you don't know, it's not shameful. But if you don't know, but you pretend you know, it is very shameful. I don't know about
2 days ago in the Wuzhen Internet Conference, people asked me, what do you think about it? I say, honestly, I know very little about it, and I'm totally confused. And even if it works, the whole international rules and laws on trade and financing is going to completely change. I don't think we are ready for that. So I think I'm focusing on the Alipay. I'm focusing on RMB, US dollars, euros. We have a team specifically study that, and also we have a team blockchain technology. We spend a lot of efforts on blockchain technology for development. For Bitcoins, I say not for me. We are not focusing on Bitcoin. We are focused on cashless society for China. And every country we go, try to making sure the society is more efficient, more transparent, no corruption. This is what we want to do.
Man on your screens now, looking somewhat glum, is actor and producer Stephen Baldwin, who is, I believe, a big fan of Bitcoin and thoroughly disagrees with what we just saw.
Absolutely I do, sir. But listen, like anything, I'm just an actor, but...
So what are you on this show for?
Exactly. Well, listen, if you ask any stock analyst, it's about risk management, isn't it? Yes. So I'm going to tell people, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dash Digital Cash, companies like Ethereum, and a really cool company I just connected with called Block Apps. These are companies that are really trying to educate the consumer the difference between what's happening in blockchain as a technology and then crypto as an opportunity to invest. Very different thing. Blockchain's a technology being used in many ways. Crypto is a digital currency. Yes, Wall Street, it's non-existent, but you can't take a stock down to Home Depot and buy what you need, but you can with Dash Digital Cash.
I agree with you that there is a difference between the blockchain technology...
Home Depot.
Wait a second. There's a difference between blockchain technology,
yes, sir,
which is the basis of the whole thing,
is the technology,
which clearly has a future. Go
check out Ethereum, people, and what they're doing.
But there's a difference between that, the technology that underlies it, and the Bitcoin itself, which is clearly a bubble.
Sure.
You
Absolutely.
agree with that? Okay. So are you in it? Do you own Bitcoin?
Hasn't Wall Street been a bubble? Hasn't Wall Street had bubbles? Hasn't real estate had bubbles? People invest in all of that. Let's not discourage the honest individual who wants to make a buck from getting involved. As long as if you got a little money to play with and invest, I'm going to tell you right now, look at the top 10 cryptocurrencies. They're going up in the next 3 to 5 years. Is it a risk? Absolutely. So's everything else. Why not make a buck?
Can I
check out crypto?
Okay, wait.
Dash Digital Cash.
Please. Okay, so do you own Bitcoin?
I don't own Bitcoin.
Okay, you don't own it.
I own other coins.
Okay, and are you going to stay in them for a long, long time?
Absolutely, I'm going to stay easily for the next 6 to 9 months. I'm hanging on to the coins I got.
So the advice to viewers would be, if you got some money that you don't mind losing,
correct,
put it in. But it's not an investment, it's an opportunity to get
into an opportunity with a calculated risk like everything else.
Right, hold on a second, Stephen, because here is a real-life Wall Street person.
Sure.
His name is Peter Kernan, and I want you to pass judgment on what he just said.
I'm not going to pass judgment. My tendency, though, with respect, is to invest with people who know what they're talking about. And so that's sort of my starting premise.
Sure. Absolutely. So I would say to that, anybody can research Ethereum. Anybody can see that right now with Dash Digital Cash, you can go to Home Depot and buy stuff. So this is reality, people. This is not a guess. Yes, it's a risk. And I, respectfully to you, I just talked to my brother-in-law, Cassius Diodato, who works for ATS Secured out of Omaha. Small little investment technology company. Guess what? They're doing some research, and he's advising me as an investment guy about what the truth and the realities and the risk-reward is of crypto now. One of the biggest, most important things is education. Don't think because you understand blockchain, that means that you understand crypto. That's an understanding that needs to be separated. But again, I am a wild, crazy actor guy, and you don't operate from that perspective. God bless you. But it's fascinating to see the number of guys on your end that are recognizing this now as it having potential.
All right, Stephen Baldwin, I think you made your point.
Thank you very much, Stuart Varney. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Stephen. We do appreciate it. Merry Christmas, young man.
You too, brother.
Appreciate it.
Is there a particular area that you're looking at now within the startup or tech community?
Are you talking about an industry that I'm kind of excited about?
Yeah.
I'm excited about everything that the blockchain can change. And I'm very excited about Bitcoin. I'm wearing my tie because it's a global currency. It's frictionless. It's got that trusted third party that isn't subject to the whims of some political force. So I'm very excited about that.
You've been a Bitcoin bull for years. You said that it would reach $10,000 by next year. It surpassed that already this year. What do you think has been driving the frenzied growth we've seen in the last
Well, I feel like I made it by just 1 month. because it was a 3-year prediction at 10,000, and it hit 10,000 in November. I had 1 month to go. I was getting a little nervous that my prediction wasn't going to be fulfilled. And boy, yeah, it did. And then once it hit 10,000, now it's going to find a real market value. People are recognizing that it's a really important part of our global society. It helps bank the unbanked. It gives you a currency that doesn't have to float with the political winds. And if you're in, Nigeria, and you know that the naira is going to drop 30% a year, why would you ever want to use that as your currency? Why wouldn't you use Bitcoin? Or if you're in Argentina, where the trust has been totally shattered because 10 years ago they had a total debt crisis and people didn't pay back. Well, now there's a currency that is not tied to the political winds, and that is really powerful.
But there are a lot of people who are concerned, especially over the last few weeks, as we've seen this huge growth and we've seen a huge amount of volatility just this week. People like Jamie Dimon who say that it's a bubble waiting to burst. What do you say to them?
Hey, look at what his whole life, he's totally controlling everybody's regular fiat cash. Do you think he's going to say Bitcoin's a good thing? It's going to scare the heck out of him. I mean, he's starting to see people take money out of his bank and put it into Coinbase.
But there's a lot of people who
So he's got to be, of course he's going to say that stuff. So, you got to look at who's the messenger.
But there are a lot of people, other than Jamie Dimon as well, who are worried that because of its volatility, it's not this great store of value, which is the way that it is being touted. Do you think they have a point?
I look at it and I say, volatility against what? I also think people come to me and say, are you going to sell your Bitcoin? And I think, into what? It's like taking gold and turning it into shells again. We know that the new currency of the future is going to be this kind of a currency. It's going to be a cryptocurrency. There's no reason to go back in time to fiat when you can actually move forward and say, this is the new currency of the future. And so the volatility is the panic in the other currencies saying, wait, this is a better way for all of us to do commerce. So, this is a better currency. So why are we in this old currency? And so they're going to bounce around relative to the cryptocurrency. It's backwards from the question you asked.
So is there anything that would give you pause then about Bitcoin?
I'm just so excited that the world is going to benefit from this new technology. I just think it's fantastic. And there are other cryptos that might be pretty interesting out there. We have Bancor and Tezos and Credo. I think that all of those could change the way the currency world works. But I think the currency will go the way the internet did. HTTP was not the best technology, but it was the one everybody standardized around when they were building out the internet. Bitcoin, it's not the best technology now because a lot of interesting new technologies have come, but it is the standard everybody's been building around. And I think the fact that it's the standard and because it's a major brand is going to make sure that ends up being the currency. But there's always a possibility that something else will happen.
And we have seen a number of copycats, many of them just this year at least.
Yeah, there are like 2,000.
There are 2,000 of them. So are there some that you would recommend for other people to stay away from? Is it about going to this standard as you're describing Bitcoin?
I would say in general people should think, if they're going to participate in an ICO, like buy some tokens, I think they should think who's behind it, who are the entrepreneurs, what is their movement. I think just starting an ICO to raise money isn't quite the spirit of it. I think an ICO should be a movement, a sociological transformation. It should be something people just say, yes, this is something we all need. Yes, we need a better environment. We need more peace in the land. We need whatever. And that kind of thing is, or we need a new kind of a product for us, or whatever. I see that corporates are for the good of the shareholder and nonprofits are for the good of society. Well, this is a new thing. It's for the good of a future customer. It's a little like a Kickstarter. And so that's the way I look at these. And I think that people who want to put their money and buy these coins, they should be thinking, is this the future I want to see? Is this the future? Are they moving
Do you think people
towards
are putting
something?
that kind of thought into it as they buy into it? As we've seen.
Well, I'm encouraging that. I'm encouraging that. I don't know what people are thinking when they do it. Maybe they're just thinking, hey, this is fun, better than playing the lottery, might end up earning money. I don't know why we have a lottery. I mean, it's like a tax on, making stupid decisions.
But you've not been selling out of Bitcoin in the last few weeks as we've seen it rise.
No, I love.
You're holding
I'm
on to it.
maniacal about this. This is so important for the world. It helps borders dissolve. It helps us all get along better. Having a global currency, that's just like magic.
Well, it's taking a big step this Sunday. SIBO is launching its futures index for it. Is this? There are concerns that it's mostly going to be used as an attempt to short Bitcoin. Is that something that you're concerned about?
No, I think it's. I think actually it's great because it's a currency, and people should be able to monitor whether they feel that it's too high or too low, and it will stabilize, and it will become an even more useful currency. The volatility you spoke of is going to be lessened by having a futures market.